start with, I'm really delighted to be here tonight. It is very unusual gathering for me, and I really appreciate the fact, Michael, that you were positive about it. My ideas are to a certain extent unusual, and I will try to be as open as I can about it all. I realized that in order to understand otherness, empathy, to encompass culture of others, we first have to listen. One of the biggest problems that we have in Palestinian solidarity movement, for instance, and I realize that a few of you are part of this movement, is that we all the time tell the Palestinians what they should do, who should they be. We tell them, "Oi, we have to do secular, democratic." Who are you to tell anyone to be secular? And democracy, it's done to the people who live there. We have to learn to listen. The whole discourse of tolerance within Western culture have collapsed. I think that now we can continue where we stopped earlier on.
Okay.
I would like to say a little piece of information that you might not know about.
Yeah.
Michael and a cantor by the name of Richard Kaplan have produced really extraordinary, beautiful albums using Mizrahi, Arabic, Jewish music, and adapting a lot of the Jewish prayers to Arabic.
Yeah. By the way, this is interesting because in my music, Orient House, the first, the second, the third album, we went for Ladino music. For I find it, although I'm from kind of European descent, I find it much easier to deal aesthetically with Ladino and the Arabic music, Jewish Arabic music. And by the way, it is very interesting to talk about Jewish Arabic music now. Can I launch it?
I mean, it's a huge, but I mean, can I just go on? I think we also have to acknowledge that all of the Eidot from all of the communities from Morocco, Libya, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran have from Turkey. These are deep, 1,000-plus-year-old.
Actually, much older. Much older than the Ashkenazi communities.
Much older,
who are largely Khazarians.
And they have, so I just want to acknowledge that within this art tradition, there is a depth of musicality, of expression that goes back.
This is a very interesting
extraordinary
issue.
You guys should get together, the three of you.
I always like to get. Are you a musician as well?
Singer.
I will. It is very interesting to mention Arab Jews, especially now, in the light of the regional intifada. As we know, Arab Jews were largely brought to Israel in the early 50s to the 60s. They went through serious discrimination and still discriminated. Now, what is the most appalling aspect of their discrimination is that they really drifted away, many of them, from their culture and especially from their musical culture. I never understood why Greek music is so popular in Israel. is the matter of fact, Greek Jewish community was basically annihilated in World War II. There are very few Greek Jews left. The Saloniki was the community that suffered more than any other community. Not many people know about it because they were not Ashkenazi. But I'm very popular in Greece, and I sit in the taverna in Athens in the night, and for the first time, kind of 5-6 years ago, or 7 years ago, when I started first, and I feel like in Israel, and what is going on? And I said, why? Why is this music so popular? I then realized that Arab Jews who couldn't really play their own music because then they would be associated by the hegemony, Ashkenazi hegemony or whatever, or the Ashkenazi neighbor with Arabs, and they found kind of a replacement, and this was Greek and Turkish music. Greek and Turkish music. Now, what is happening now? Arab Jews were very embarrassed for years about their origin, except the Mimuna, which is the Moroccans who celebrate their kind of thing around Pesach. They have their special gathering. Arab Jews didn't play the music or whatever, and their Arab brothers didn't give them a very good reason to be proud. 67 didn't make Egyptian or Syrian Jewish Arab very proud of their brothers. Their rulers, of these countries didn't make their countries, they didn't make Arab Jews very proud. But now, there is a shift. Now, Arab Jews, I don't know if you know, but 2 weeks ago, a bunch of very important, they call themselves Sephardi, but they are Arab Jewish intellectuals in Israel. I think Orly Azulai, you mentioned Adi Ophir. Orly Azulai, I think, was on this letter. They wrote a very big letter, a very big, beautiful letter to their Arab Jewish, to the Arab brothers. The Arab Jews in Israel wrote a letter to the Arab brothers, young Arab brothers, and it's quite amazing. And I think I was wrong when it happened, when Peretz was the leader of the Israeli labor. He was a Moroccan Jew. I wanted really to believe that he would understand or would start to realize that his real brothers and sisters are the Arabs rather than those Ashkenazi capitalists who brutalized their who discriminated them for so many years. Anyway, this is kind of an anecdote, but again, from music into a kind of a political realization.
So, I looked on the web and elsewhere about you, and suddenly found people saying that you're anti-Semite. And now, of course, they say that about me too. And they say it about me because
they say about you, right?
All Semites.
and they, well,
about myself, I really hate everyone equally.
okay.
Well, it comes from your family.
But so the
habit of hating.
so I know that those kinds of charges that identify anti-Semitism with criticism of Israeli policy are not relevant to anything. They're just propaganda. But then so I pursued it and heard that. So some people say, and maybe you can help me understand, beyond the issues of Israeli policy, whether you think the Jewish people or Jews or Israelis have a right to their own national self-determination or not, and also you were starting to talk in the other room and before we had this meeting about Judaism, and whether you have whether you've said stuff that make people think that you don't believe that Judaism is a legitimate religion, or that Jews have a right to their own religious and cultural identity, which might have not existed 3,000 years ago, and that may all be fairy tales, but now exist as a reality in the world. So
I really want to answer this this question, and if I miss something, grill me, so don't let me get away with it. My philosophy is very simple. I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'm certainly opposing any form of Jewish politics. Any form of Jewish politics. Now, I make a clear differentiation between Jews, the people, Judaism, the religion, and Jewishness, the ideology. In my writing, and by the way, every time you read that somebody says something about me, if he gives a reference, go and check the reference. And it is more than likely that you would read it and you would agree with me.
That happens to me all the time. So.
Yeah, okay.